start off at the bottom and actually maybe work our way up. Is there any plans? This question comes from Andrew. Any plans on a Mistika VR Live to work with live streamed VR content?
Okay, I think this one is for me. We have evaluated that many times. Is not in the immediate future because it requires quite a lot of development. So it's not closed. We haven't closed the door for now, absolutely. But for now, it's not in the short term plan.
Okay. Do you guys have add any? This question comes from Jeff. Do you guys add ambisonic audio to your projects? If so, how? In Mistika or another program? Question.
Yes, absolutely. I always push for an ambisonic audio mix because I think, especially if it's going out to headset, it really adds to the immersion. The way that we add it depends on where it's going and depends on who's mixing it. Typically, the most often tool is the Facebook 360 Spatial Workstation Encoder, which can take a lot of different audio sources and marry them with your final video and generate out something that's good for Oculus Quest, Facebook 360, etc.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see. The next question comes from actually a fellow IVRPA member. From Matt Rowell from 360 Labs. How do you render work with bumpers for transitions that need additional frames in Premiere? Who wants to take that one?
It's a good question. And I'm pretty sure that Adrian probably has like the best way to do it. But what I tend to do is I tend to just extend everything in Boutique. And let me just share my screen real quick because I can kind of show a little bit of how this kind of works. This took me a long time to figure out that this was so powerful. But let me, for example, just take this section and we'll pop it out there so everyone can kind of see. What you can do with this here, because it still has all the media, is you can use this keyboard here to extend things. So like if I were to select here and pop in like 30 here, I could actually add it to the tail. Or I should be able to add it to the tail of these things. So I can go trim tail. Or maybe you can. This is a good one for Adrian, I think. But I tend to just extend everything like 30 frames, and that tends to work well for me.
Yeah, I can show it as well. There we go. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, so now I'm sharing. 1 sec. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna use, for example, this as an example for that. I'm going to select all these, use 10 frames. And if I want to trim something, let me select the media. Sorry, let me select. Okay.
Oh, that's what it was? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it was in select. Okay, so I can just take everything there and just trim whatever I want. One thing that you can do as well is, for example, let me just come back to there. One thing that I normally do with a VR project is like to group this. So I can have a group and I can manage this as a group. So the whole stitch is inside the group. And inside the group, I can try just to make the different trims. So the trim is inside the group and then I can ungroup it or render with that information as well to use it later in Premiere. So there are always several ways to do it. But yeah, you can manage the trim using the calculator here or manually with the controls here in Mystika, basically selecting and just expanding. This is more an interactive way to do it. This is more precise.
I can't stress enough how using the calculator is key in using Boutique. It just makes like your life so easy and really precise. And I wish other tools had like a calculator.
Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, thank you. I think we got Matt's question answered. The next one comes from, let's see, IFLO. Hello, is it possible to sync your VR rigs directly in Mistika Boutique?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to share just my screen just to show where's the button. But anyway, is in here. You have here the align clips, and here we have by audio and by time code. It's basically the same button, the same functionality that you have in Mistika VR.
Perfect. Awesome. Next question comes from Serge. He says, say your color correcting person works in another software package, in my case, DaVinci Resolve. How can you import his work, LUTs or actual nodes? Question.
Don't think you can import the actual nodes, but you can import LUTs, and you can do all sorts of color space transforms. And I mean, one of the other reasons that is great to work in Boutique for me is you have access to the raw camera data, you know, so you can really get in there and utilize, if you're shooting on something like the Blackmagic or you're shooting on a nodal rig, you can really get in there and play with all of those bits and all of that color data.
Awesome. Okay, next question from Marcel. Do you know if the camera menu in the VR view is going to be expandable in the future instead of just being in the bottom corner? It would be really handy. Thanks.
Are you taking notes, Adrian?
Yeah, no. I was just waiting. Well, that menu, I guess he's referring to the menu that you find in to the controls of the VR view panel. We don't have that menu is still using like the old interface in Mystika. That's the reason why it's not expandable. But once we move to the new interface that now the color grading tool has it and Mistika VR has it, it will be expandable, perfectly expandable as well. Yeah, that will become for free once we move it to the new GUI.
Yeah, I actually have a question that I've posed to SGO for many years now, and I think it's always sort of like on the feature list of nice to haves. But I do a lot of my review in a VR headset that's tethered to my computer, especially because we review very different types of headsets. A lot of the headsets we use are either super high resolution or they're wide field of view, and I really like to review footage using the Pimax 8K headsets to get a feel for peripheral vision. And I've asked SGO before, but it would be fantastic to have a way to just as we have the VR view in Adobe products, to be able to live view your stereo work and actually move and have like the responsive gyroscopic tracking so that we could do that instead of having that VR window.
Yeah, that feature is definitely on a very top of our to-do list. I can say that we're working on it. I don't want to promise any dates or anything, but I can promise you that we are working on it.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, that's a good one. For Matthew, you've got Rakesh. He says he's offering his services for you as a colorist.
Rakesh, reach out, matt@lightsailvr.com. I am actively looking for colorists who know how to color 360. Or you don't even need to know how to color 360. You just need to know how to use Boutique and be willing to, like, you know, the tools are so easy. It's like to be a 2D colorist and then in Boutique to just hit like lat long for the patcher, like everything else, and then like everything else is kind of like taken care of for you, you know, like they've really done a good job. But like it is like pulling teeth watching a Resolve colorist to try to color 360 work. It's just so painful.
John, we've got a question from John. Can we get a little bit more of an overview of 3D stitching workflow in Mistika VR?
Show like a really quick overview of like some general ideas. This is the Insta360 Pro camera, okay, which has stereoscopic functionalities as well. The key aspect is to set the camera spacing, which is basically taking the number of cameras that you have in your rig and divide 360 by that number. So you get the 60 grades space in between cameras. So once you do it, I can come to here to the stereo, and instead of state in no stereo, I can click in black and white anaglyph. So now I have my stereo here. Let me go there. There we go. So as a general rule, again, it's not something that magical that you have to apply in every shot. But as a general rule, what you need to do is always to try to match the background, because you don't know exactly the depth of this background here. So to match it, we have an interactive way with the overlays enabled, and with the shift, you can just drag, and you basically drag the pairs of of cameras there, the left eye and the right eye, so you can just match the background until it fits. So in that way, you can basically adjust your stereoscopic image. If for any reason there is some geometry problems in the vertical because there is some kind of rotation between cameras, etc., you have here the vertical balance and the horizontal balance to fix those issues. And finally, once you are happy with the geometry adjustment, you can control here the jaw balance, which is basically the overall depth of your shot. But this is more artistic. It's basically your decision of the depth of the shot. It won't affect the quality of the stitch because this parameter applies always on top. So basically you do all the stitch, all the stereo adjustment, and you control the final stereo with the jaw balance here by moving the whole depth of the shot. I'm just forcing it here quite a lot to see it clearly, but this is basically the general rule. So first, camera spacing, then enable the black and white anaglyph to analyze the shot, match the background, and then control the overall depth with the jaw balance.
Adrian, isn't there a little button right there that also allows you to manually use your mouse to adjust the stereo?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, there is there's this button here. This small button here allows you as well to control the difference between left and right eye manually. I normally use with the shift to basically match the background. But
and of course,
it's the same thing.
Yeah, and of course, when you're doing the anaglyph mode, you can actually get a pair of these glasses and actually wear them. I know Rachel and I both do this.
Oh yeah.
You can kind of get a live preview of the stereoscopic mode. You can actually go into VR view and wear these glasses and get a nice feel for if your stereo is aligning in a clean manner or not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Awesome.
Although my recommendation in the first step of geometry adjustment is to use the black and white anaglyph, because if the stereo is really bad, you will suffer. You will say you will have a headache because it's complicated to see a bad stereo.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I just want to thank everybody again for being here today with us, both the presenters and all of the attendees. We really appreciate spending your time with us, and we hopefully that you've gotten something valuable out of this presentation, even if it's just gleaning some small insights that will make you more interested into discovering and learning more about Mystika.